This is Made for More Living with Johnny Jennings, powered by eXp Realty. Online at madeformoreliving.com.
So we're here with Trevor Fong. He's an insurance agent, and we were talking before the break about how you're introverted. And
how would you define introverted?
Oh, that's a good question.
Introverted to me is just shy, quiet, low key, doesn't want to engage too much, doesn't want to be seen, heard, really wants to kind of lay back in the shadows and observe but not participate.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I definitely don't. And I'm introverted as well. So here are two dudes, massive introverts naturally, but yet we're trying to grow our businesses. And the best way to grow that business is through people, right? You need to have connections. You need to meet more people. And so Trevor was doing a great job with his mixers, and then I was learning from you, and still am learning from you.
Yeah.
And how many people were at the last event? Like, how many do you think we had?
We had over 500 in and out throughout the night with over almost 1,000 signups, 50% show ratio for sure.
Yep. And then and that, which is also great for the venue that we're at. But we get a lot of questions like, how is this different? Because you're at a club. How is this different than a club setting? Like, how do you delineate between mixer and club?
The difference is when a guest walks in the door, their mindset or what their intentions are. We go to a nightclub on a weekend. You're there to celebrate, have fun, hang out with your friends, and that's pretty much what you're doing.
You're there with your group.
Yeah, you're there with your group, and
Yeah.
you don't have the intentions of meeting other people intentionally unless maybe it happens. With the mixer program or the mix and mingle, we are doing that, but we are telling guests as they come, represent your business, represent the best side of you in your social circles, introduce people. So we remove the kind of the barrier that holds people back from mingling. We tell people that's encouraged at our event, and we advertise it as such.
Yep. And it's a little different. So instead of people being in pods, it's kind of weird because if people will just walk up and start talking to you, and that's encouraged. Like they'll walk up, oh, I'm so-and-so. Oh, what is it you do? And now you're having productive conversations where in a traditional club setting, that's not what you're talking about in a club.
Okay, so play that out for someone who's new to this whole type of event and they want to come to your next one, which is August 29th, right? And where can they register or sign up?
On Eventbrite.
Eventbrite. Okay, What's it called?
Search Mix and Mingle.
Mix and Mingle on Eventbrite, August 29th. They want to come, but they want to know, what do I do when I walk in? What's a script or something someone would say if they're brand new and they want to walk up and start mingling and mixing with people?
We actually make it pretty easy because we have a check-in table where we offer name tags. That's becoming less popular, but we have Johnny and his team doing check-in. And typically he actually asks, hey, how'd you hear about our event? Did you register online? What do you do for work? Or tell me about yourself. So we kind of prep them as they walk in the door. We do it to them. And I think naturally they pick it up pretty quickly that's what everyone's doing. Mm-hmm. So the check-in table is, I think, what differentiates it from being a club. Rather than going up to a girl paying a cover charge, you're checking in with Johnny and his team, introducing yourself already.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
And so sometimes, too, we can be like, oh, you should talk to so-and-so. Oh, check out so-and-so. And we can direct them. Where I see, like how, for me, again, as the introvert, what has helped me in these types of settings is going either with somebody or meeting somebody there who is an extrovert. And then that extrovert is having the time of their life. It's like a kid in a candy store. They're meeting all these new people, and then they're introducing you.
Yeah.
So if you are an extrovert, bring your introvert friend. If you're an introvert, bring your extrovert friend, and the two of you can have a great evening.
There you go.
So
That's smart.
Yeah. So Trevor, is there anything that we have special planned for this event that you want to share?
That's what you and I are talking about too right now, is how do we make this one a little more special because it's the anniversary. But this one I think will be really special. There's a long time ago I had a good support team of networking guys that would it was Real Men Wear Pink. And they were against, the breast cancer. They were making strides against breast cancer. Mm-hmm. So we brought them into this one to showcase or at least help them generate awareness. So this will be the first event where we actually have a cause built into it, and people can show support by wearing pink or wearing all blue for that fight against breast cancer. This one also, we're going to allow the sponsors to speak a little more. I want to get some business owners up there. That's kind of on this agenda, is to get some business owners up there to speak about their success from the Mix and Mingle program. But we're going to really find the success stories and have them share.
So I'm curious, During COVID, were you able to still do the event, or did you have to
We didn't
pause?
I think we paused for a little bit.
Yeah.
I had one scheduled, and I put a note up saying, "Hey, we're going to pause for a while to see what
So
happens."
this is what really happened. So I met Trevor in September of 2020, right? And I think my first mixer that I threw was at the House of Oliver here in Roseville in
Yeah, House of Oliver, Matthew Oliver.
October
sure.
of 2020. And so he was it 2020, 2019? I don't remember what it was, but I did not stop my mixers. I was doing them every single month, and Matt did not care at House of Oliver.
Oh,
He was like, let's
absolutely.
roll. And so so we put, and there were fewer people, like sometimes
Sure.
50, maybe 100, but it was a totally different thing than having a line out the venue,
Right.
down the corner and around the street. And so, and in Sacramento City. So for me, we hit pause on this, or Trevor hit pause on the big one, and then we just kept doing.
That's probably how we partnered. Is we started doing some smaller scale stuff together, and that got me kind of back to the roots too of like, hey, really like making meaningful connections, and then blowing the mix back up when it opened.
Yep, back when it was back when it was allowed. And so for me, partnered with Trevor, started at House of Oliver, kind of outgrew that venue a little bit. Then we were doing crawdads, and then
that was a
on the
good
river. But for people out there, because you get hit up all the time, people are always asking you, "Hey, how can I start a networking event? How
Yeah.
can I do
All the
this?"
time.
And I have not seen too many people have success with it.
Mm-hmm.
So what advice would you give to somebody who was looking to maybe start their own mixer?
I think it really comes from building social relationships, and that's again why I think the Mix and Mingle program will always be successful. Is as quickly as you can DM someone or go on a LinkedIn or go on a Facebook and send them a message. There is something about sitting down with someone face to face, having a real conversation, and getting to know them. So when you want to start a mixer, you want to do some networking, you really have to get back to the basics, the roots of what is networking. It's just sitting down with someone, maybe for coffee, maybe over just a more personalized phone call as opposed to text, and getting to know people. And once you do that enough, you could launch a mixer and have the support, because you'll have a team of 20 people around the city that know people that know what your intentions are. They'll bring people to your event. You'll grow something really special.
Yep, and that's kind of what we did. Like if I had started my own networking event on my own, it would have been like me and Valerie would have been the only ones there all night,
Yeah.
But because we partnered with you, it's like, okay, now he's helping and he's supporting us, and we're tapping into now Trevor's network. So what I've seen people do is they leverage their other relationships. Like people want to help people. Like it's not like you're asking for like $1,000. You're just saying, hey, do you want to come out and bring some friends and have a good time and meet some other great people?
Yeah.
And so leverage your closest connections and maybe the different industries they're in. That's the easy part. The hard part is doing it consistently.
Right.
And so like I was doing it the third Thursday of every month for over a year. So that's super consistent. And so if you're only going to do it once, and then maybe, and just to try, like don't even do it once if you're just going to try it out. Like you have to have the intention of, hey, I'm going to do this consistently for a long period of time. Here we are. Trevor's been doing it for 5 years. He's not necessarily an overnight success. There's not a reason. It's no surprise why thousands of people are showing up and registering over the last 5 years. It's because he's been doing it consistently, and he's consistently been delivering a quality product. Like he's giving people what they want. And so, yeah. Anything to add on that?
I think you're right on that. I think that when we launch a mixer together, because this is really like our thing now, I really look at are we doing it consistently? Are we getting better, a little better each time? And it doesn't have to be anything crazy. Like it could be the decor's a little nicer. The wristbands for our VIP guests, are they a little nicer than last time? Like first time I did wristbands, we had like paper, and then we go to the cloth. So I just look for that constant improvement of the program, everything we do.
Yeah, constant improvement. Like the graphics, I know you're the graphic designer that we're using is
the flyers. I always try to one up the last flyer. If I could just make it a little prettier, a little shinier each time. Nothing crazy, but just slight improvement.
Slight improvements, but you have to keep doing it. If you let that flywheel slow down or stop, people are like, why are you still doing this, Johnny? And I think it's I like working with you.
Yeah,
that's honestly the main reason. But the other reason why is that it's just so hard. If I let go of the reins or that wheel, the momentum is just going to fall off, and then everything we've been working on for years, or I've been working on with years with you, would disappear into the ether. And so you just have to be willing to do it consistently.
I'm helping with a few big festivals next year and larger scale projects, just like consulting. And I think the number one feedback I had was like just such simple stuff like why did the flyer not look as good last year? Why does it look worse this year? Why is the sign up more difficult this year to buy a ticket than last year? Why the price is more inconsistent? And I think just those basic things is what dictates their success a lot, because when it's hard for a guest or a consumer to see that product or understand what it is, it's hard for them to purchase or commit. So I try to really simplify the process and make things streamlined. And
also, because these venues, that was the biggest question, like, where would I do this? Who's going to let me hang out at their space? And you brought to mind that there are a lot of people out there, a lot of business owners out there, that they're slower on Thursdays. You have to
know when to attack it, right?
Yeah.
Since it is work, Thursday's a good night because it allows people to work or do networking, which is part of their work, and then go Friday and then go home.
Mm-hmm. And so you were strategic about that, and then also you're bringing these venues business.
Yeah.
If your regular crowd is 50 people on a Saturday night, and then all of a sudden you're bringing in an additional 100, 150 who maybe have never been there before. Now you're bringing the venue business.
Yeah.
And so, as far as the financials on this, how do you work the financials so that way you can do this consistently without draining your resources?
I think one thing I paid attention to that I don't know if I've shared with you too much is I know how much each guest spends per my event. The average spend is about $35, $40 a person. So for every person I bring, it's $40 to the venue's register, and I know those numbers. So when I talk to an owner, I'm able to give him those numbers just because I know every guest will typically buy 2 or 3 drinks at my event.
Got it.
Yeah.
And so, so it probably depends on the venue too. Like if you're doing something at a House of Oliver, the cost, the spend per guest is going to be different.
I mean, they're still going to at least do one to 2 drinks per person.
Absolutely.
We know that, so we just look at their menu and just pick the average drink price, multiply it by 2, not including tax and gratuity.
And that's a safe number.
Yeah. So we know kind of how to reverse engineer that.
So that helps get you into the venue. But as far as because the things that we typically focus on are obviously the venue, decor,
entertainment,
maybe a little bit of food. How do you do all that? How do you break that down?
Well, I keep it simple for you. We look at venues that have the capacity. So number one thing I look at is the venue capacity. I want to see whatever their number is on their door. Like if they have a 93 capacity, then I know about 100 people can fit in there, right? Mix is 350 or 375. That matters for size of the event. And then you just look at their menus and really decide, is this good enough? Small bites, good drink menu, cocktail, happy hour, whatever it may be. And you just pick it based on does that fit my guest and is that my style?
Yeah. And then as far as sponsors, how do you, if somebody was looking to start their own mixer, how would you recommend them go out and get sponsors?
I'm terrible at getting sponsors. That's the one thing I do not. That's why this event's free, is I don't want to ask people for money. I hate asking people for money, but I think you just have to. We did it backwards. We put on such a good program at the Mix with so many people. We had people coming to us saying, "Hey, how can I sponsor that or be a part of it?"
That's true.
So that's my strategy too for networking. I want to meet so many people that I never have to ask anyone, "Hey, can I quote your insurance? Can you send me some business?" I'd rather just know 5,000 people and naturally 1 to 10% consider me when they need something.
Oh, I've been meaning to ask you this. Yeah. So you are all over social media. You're always liking, commenting on stuff. What's your strategy behind that? How much time would you say you spend a day on social media?
I probably spend 3 hours a day on social media.
Okay.
But if you look at the social media, it does 2 things for me. It allows me to see what's going on in people's lives.
Yep.
Everyone's posting the celebratory stuff, babies, weddings, engagements, anniversaries.
Podcasts.
Yeah, podcasts. I want to know what's going on in most of my friends or people's lives. That's a good way to stay connected. People post what they want to show. I want to see what they're posting. And then the second thing is word of mouth on social media is so good. I think there's times on social media I'm watching stuff that's probably not productive, but I try to get back to the basics of watching business videos. I like watching some podcasts. There's some things I listen to that are productive, but I do spend probably 3-4 hours a day on social media.
So you have such a huge network though. Do you keep a list and look for their profiles, or is it just organically showing up in your feed?
Instagram, naturally the algorithm now does that for you. It kind of puts your top friends at the top and the stories you view more in the front. So the phone's always listening. It does that for you.
It's always listening.
Yeah,
always
listening right now.
Awesome. So let's say you throw this event, you meet some great people, you're now following up you suggest following them and just start liking and leaving positive comments?
I think that's the spray and pray method. I think that's going to, hopefully they'll see your name and they'll think of you. But that is more, I think, just branding in itself, or just like leaving like breadcrumb trails. I think what you really have to do, and if you want to be successful with these mixers, is try to meet 5 people, get their business cards, do the old school, like write down their favorite drink, what they're into, and really call or text them the next day to set some time to do one-on-one with them.
Yeah, the one-on-ones are where it's at. All right, and so the next Mix and Mingle is coming up August 29th, 8 p.m. at the Mix, and they can just go on Eventbrite and register for free. And just please do show up early if you want to get in, because sometimes people are waiting.
Yeah, no dress code at these things. Wear whatever represents your business. We got people in gym clothes coming. It's cool.
And then some people like full-on suits.
Yeah.
Not everything in between.
Yeah.
But yeah, and wear some blue or pink if you want to support the cause.
Yeah. Making strides against breast cancer, so wear pink.
Yep. Thank you so much for being on the show today, Trevor.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, Matt, it's something I'm hearing more and more. You have to plan for retirement. You have to know what you're doing. And for Kathleen and Phil, they are at retirement age. And part of that retirement plan was selling their beautiful home in Folsom and moving out of state. So when the time came, they called Johnny Jennings and the Tom Daves team at Made for More Realty to sell their home. And they did in 6 days. And they also got a record price for the neighborhood.
Yeah, so if your home is part of your retirement plan, obviously you want to get the most for it. That's why Johnny Jennings and the Tom Daves team, they get on average 3% higher purchase price than all the other realtors, and they sell them fast. 27% actually faster than everyone else. So expect more, get more with Johnny Jennings and the Tom Daves team at Made for More Realty, brokered by EXP. So all you do is Google Made for More Realty, do it today, and get more for your home. License number 581837.